A concerning statistic about Papua New Guinea's education system was raised in Parliament during question time today. The Minister for Higher Education revealed that while more than 437,000 students start at elementary and primary school levels, only about 30,000 make it to grade 12. The issue was raised by the member for Middle Fly, Maso Hewabi, who questioned the rollout of the 166 education policy and highlighted challenges faced by schools, particularly in Western Province, including a lack of classrooms, teacher accommodation, and infrastructure. He asked what plans the government has to support schools in implementing the policy and whether additional funding exists apart from the tuition fee-free policy. Supplementary questions were later raised by the members for Ijavatari and Abau before the minister responded to the concerns.
For Middle Fly.
Thank you, Assistant Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to ask a question without notice to the Minister for Education. Unfortunately, he's not here, but I know that the Minister for Higher Education is acting on his behalf. So I'll direct my question to the Minister. My question is in relation to the 166 policy rollout. The policy is a very good policy for our country and to support the education system in this country. However, as we have observed beginning of this year, the school year, this policy implementation was a very, very big challenge. I'm not sure about the other provinces, but especially what we have observed in Western Province. There were no classes because of no classrooms and no staff houses. The students couldn't even go to class. Most of the students were lining up outside and they couldn't go inside the classroom because the classrooms were full. And some of the teachers couldn't even go to those assigned schools because there was no staff houses. And those infrastructure challenges were very enormous. The TFF funding that is funded by the Education Department annually is not sufficient enough to address the pressure that is exceeded by the 160 policy. So my question to the good minister, Mr. Assistant Speaker, is that my question number one, what is your plan to support and address the 160 policy in the country so that the schools can effectively implement this policy for us? That is question number one. Question number two, is there any other funding apart from the TFF funding to support also to roll out the 160 policy? Thank you. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
The Minister for Higher Education.
Thank you, Member for Middle Fly, for that important question. As soon as I was appointed Acting Education Minister, I asked Secretary to give me some data on our enrollments. And I was stunned to see the data for 2024. We enroll at elementary or primary school 437,653. That's the number of students we enrolled in 2024. By grade 12, that number goes down to 33,488. We lose around 93% attrition rate from elementary to grade 12. 93%. What happens to these young people? Where do they go? And big challenge na big heavy for the country. And so I want to thank our Prime Minister for his vision on trying to close that gap immediately. So in response to that big problem that 166 policy came in, we can't, as a responsible government, allow our young people to just go off. And one of the main factors as to why we have this high attrition rate is simply because of space. spaces in our primary schools and especially secondary schools and high schools to be able to enroll all these students. So, and Big Blue heavy country facing, Big Blue challenge law education department, and that's where 166 policy comes in. This year there's 100 million law support. Again, that's not enough, but I want to thank the Prime Minister and Cabinet. Straight after being appointed, we brought in a submission to Cabinet to quickly address this issue. And I'm happy to announce that the Cabinet approved 11.6 billion to quickly close that gap, building schools, classrooms, staff houses, dormitories, abolition blocks, textbooks, whatever that's needed to be able to close that gap immediately. So in terms of your specific question, 100 million staff law budget, plus as per this recent submission, we've also secured another 300 million. And I'm talking to, specifically for Western Province, talking to Octedi, and Octedi have given positive response to immediately support Western Province. But the the 166 policy is start one of the first 6 provinces, and that's Western Province, Hela, Enga, Western Islands, Chiwaka, and Eastern Islands provinces. So these are the 6 provinces that people are trialing out, and after that, it'll go out to the whole country. But I'm happy that Cabinet also, in its wisdom, have raised the importance and priority of that particular program to now be higher than Connect PNG in terms of importance and prominence, and funding support starting next year going forward. So yes, challenges will happen this year, but we'll try our best with the 300 that we've approved, and we're looking at bringing in ready-made modular buildings. Harap ready-made come as well, fitting harap and close the gap and fitting those the needs. So yes, we are working, on full support, full speed, and we'll be able to close that gap at the earliest. Thank you.
Ejivitari. Member for Ejivitari, your supplement.
Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker. Some of us, after boundaries were cut in the electorate, I am trying to build about 5 high schools. Na Minister talk some only trial him out in other provinces, the 6 provinces, but on the ground it's not what's happening. For me, law electorate Blominal province, 166 is already in operation, and we are all struggling with the infrastructure. Bloodisla. So question Blomi, supplementary Blomi Lem, is that when we designed this policy on 166, did we take the infrastructure development out at the component at the various districts into consideration in the whole country? Did we actually budget? Did we actually see how much it will cost us? Because this 10%, or 20% of the education sector in the DSIP cannot handle what we are doing now. I built over 30 classrooms already in this 4 years. And I'm struggling. I'm building teachers' houses and I'm struggling. And so my supplementary, again, I'm repeating. Did we calculate the infrastructure component of it and how much it will cost the country, it will cost each district to execute and implement this 166 policy? Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
Assistant Speaker, good luck question. Government, again, we are not able to answer all the questions immediately, but we will answer it over time. And that's the reason why I said significant support of 11.8 billion will be funded over a 10-year period to cater for the need. But in the short term, yes, 20% of DSIP. Also, we have the infrastructure grant that our government has put. And so if your priority is education, which should be for most of us, then we should also use that to also build our classrooms and staff houses. So, but again, that is where the need is. And I'm asking my staff to have a look on some of our policies again, and where we can cut on some of the expenses to be able to invest in infrastructure again. And in due course, I will report to the House again on how best we can do this. But Minister, Honourable Member, your concerns are valid. And obviously, by Harim's advice, some concerns you raise him, and work on adjusting and making cash available to be able to invest in the infrastructure. We're also looking at using technology, recorded lectures, all this kind. So, you know, in some places, yes, just because there's no infrastructure doesn't mean you can't teach. In some places around the world, they use technology, recorded classes, just simple frame and canvas, and big something or mangi go to school. Play the teacher teaching in class or in a laptop or on a screen. So we look at innovative ways. If it's expensive on infrastructure, we can look at innovative ways to still be able to give access to our young people. I think the important thing, like I want to stress, is we must not leave our young people behind. One them road, you mean ablo painim, help more pinini, you must find him, help him, and together work together. Bipartisan support to this. Thank you.
We have another supplementary. The member for above.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It will be a very quick one. The Minister, in his response, disclosed some very, very serious statistics. The statistics on the attrition rate from elementary to grade 12 is a very, very serious one. And I'm wondering whether the Minister's statistics are actually correct. If the Minister could, in a separate session, make a ministerial statement for debate on the serious attrition rate of over 90%, 93%, that means, Assistant Speaker, we have a serious problem in this country, in this sector. And that issue has to be taken seriously by the government. And I'm asking the Minister, through you, Assistant Speaker, to prepare a statement tomorrow and we discuss this serious issue. Thank you, Assistant Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for Education.
Thank you. I want to thank the member for Abao for his good supplementary. Me like him straight this line. In fact, when I saw the stats, I was alarmed. And I want to be able to, you know, given an opportunity to present those stats here, so we can, you all get that. Both opposition, the government must support and tender tighter. We must change this for the good of our country. So appreciate your comments. Yes, I will, maybe not tomorrow, but next week. Thank you.
The member for